And once again, it's on. You feel me? Um, Back at it again. Trying to do my thing. New month. Trying to get it going. Trying to get started again. Hope y'all doing well. It's a little later in the afternoon today than regular, but that's just cause that's just how the game goes sometimes. I've been up a little bit later lately, so I'm getting on a little bit later. But maybe that'd be cool. You feel me? Some different things kind of processed and progressed through the day. So maybe to give me an opportunity to kind of talk about them things a little bit differently. You feel me? Um, Shout out to those going to tune in whenever they do. You feel me? I always appreciate it. But let's get it going. Let's get it started. You feel me? So I got a few topics, a good amount, if you can see on my little tabbies. Um, uh, but let me see. Can I copy that? I'm good. I'm that really scary. Maybe I'll move this up and I'll move this thing underneath that jug. We'll try this. We'll see how this layout works today. Um, so I'm gonna just get started. This was one of the first topics that was interesting. This was a little graphic again of Mbappe on the top of the world. You feel me? He's 24. For anybody that's interested or pays any attention to soccer, and if you're not even interested in paying any attention to soccer, you feel me? If you're just interested in some of the greatest at what they do, especially in the sports sphere, which I talk a lot about. Um, I think it's interesting. I had kind of just Googled like where does he rank, all time or whatever. And it was pretty interesting to see like prospectively where at least this one list that would just give me some people to talk on and to kind of bring up at least would put him, so to speak. Um, Again, I came to know Mbappe not this past World Cup, but the one before that one. Um, when he played for France, and France was able to get the win. And so it brought him to my attention, and then paying attention over the last few years to PSG and how much success they've been able to have with him, really kind of opened my eyes to the legend and to how much talent it is and black greatness it is right now on the pitches and on the fields. And of course, there's always, right? But especially in this new era. Um, and then the performance that he put on um, this past World Cup was realistically just like incredible, um, because I think it went past just his talent, but it went as far as his ability to work and to facilitate and to realistically be bigger than the game as far as his impact. And I think sometimes that's what the best players do. What some of the best guys on that list of players in the game. So he's a World Cup winner, World Cup's best young player, World Cup Golden Boot, which I think he may have won this year. UEFA Nations League winner, the three-time uh, France Cup winner, 5-time League One winner, 4-time League One Golden Boot player, and PSG's all-time top goal scorer, which is crazy because he's only 24. Again, as you can see, the guy right there, so he's 24 years old. He's on track to be the greatest soccer player ever. So I just kind of went and I just pulled up this like site just because I just wanted to see what players will be on the list and where he will fall on that list. So again, you got number 10, Neymar. One of my favorite players. I enjoy watching him play. I think on talent, if this list is on talent or whatever it is, talent and success, definitely one of the top 10 players, top 10 players at least I've known to have seen in my life, and one of the top 5 for me, especially as an American just watching the game. And again, when you can blow up that big in a country um, that has such diversity in the sports that we do follow, from football, baseball, basketball, hockey, um, boxing, and all these things, for him to be that big, you feel me? I think it speaks to how big he is. Zidane, 3-time FIFA World Player of the Year. Um, Neymar, 7-time Europe League champion, which again speaks to how good he is. And it says while he's behind Pele and Ronaldo from Brazil on the list all time. Neymar is still an iconic talent from the South American nation. While he's not won the Ballon d'Or during his distinguished career, he's done nothing but win championships wherever he's gone. And that's the truth. If you check out his documentary on Netflix, which is a really, really good one, it'll speak to that and how much success that he's really had. Neymar's won 2 titles with FC Barcelona and La Liga, Champions League title with the Spanish club, and has been a part of 4 straight League One championship sides with the French powerhouse PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. Um, there have been few players in the world during the 2010s than the latest Brazilian star. Excuse me, greater stars than Neymar. Zidane, 3 World Player of the Years, which I didn't even know he had that. Um, and again, another player that played in France, like Mbappe, that culture. And again, that's something that you get to see a lot of times when it comes to a lot of the great players that do what they do. Excuse me, my eyeball itching. We should cut the camera real quick. It's a good one. Anyway. He became a demigod. Come on, similar. So this sounds kind of like Mbappe after winning the World Cup for France in '98. However, along within the country's championship drought, he won 3 dang FIFA Player of the Year awards and reached rare air by winning the Player of the Year honors in 3 of the top 5 leagues on the planet. Damn, that's crazy. Plus, he came up large in the biggest games as proof of his place at the. Dang, okay, he's the all-time leading scorer in FIFA finals. I think Mbappe gonna try and chase that record down. Ronaldo had 3 Player of the Year awards. Mbappe, again, he was number 5. So again, we all got all the way down to 7 before we saw him. When I scrolled fast, I didn't see him at number 5. While Mbappe is only 23 years old, he's arguably the greatest player on the planet today. And it's quickly on pace, to being the best that France has ever produced. He was a teenager when he helped his country win the World Cup in 2018, and it's shown that was the start as he helped the team get to the finals in 2022. While Mbappe was unable to earn his 2nd straight cup title, it certainly wasn't his fault. As a Frenchman, was the best player on the field, scoring all 3 of the country's goals in their loss to Argentina. I didn't even realize that he did have a hat trick. Mbappe could be a top player of this list by the time the 2026 World Cup arrives. Diego Maradona, FIFA Goal of the Century scorer. That's crazy in itself. He didn't earn a Ballon d'Or, similar to Neymar, or FIFA Player of the Year trophy. He's got the Goal of the Year, though. He's adored around the world for his uncanny skills and his iconic, he's the icon, of all sports icons in Argentina, even over Messi, even though I think Messi may end up passing him. That's interesting. Ronaldo got 5 Ballon d'Ors, you feel me? He's the LeBron James of soccer, as people say. Freak athlete, incomparable gifts. The proof is in his excellence and shows in the fact that he is one of impressive 5 Ballon d'Ors, second all time, and owns the record for the most goals and assists in the legendary Champions League. He is such a transcendent figure that he is even known to sports fans to have never seen him play. Yeah, that's true. At 37, he shows no signs of slowing down. Right now, he's playing in Saudi Arabia, apparently. Pele, rest in peace, who just passed away recently. Pele is one of the most famous soccer players ever. And again, he played when it was black and white. Not only does he have the most goals in the history of Brazilian soccer, an amazing feat all in itself, but he also has recorded the most goals on the planet with 1,279. That's crazy. He also has logged the most assists in FIFA World Cup history and helped lead his country to 4 titles. That's a crazy stat. That's some LeBron shit. Most points ever, most postseason, you feel me? Most championship assists, and 4 chips. That's crazy. For the FIFA Player of the Century. Goal of the Century, this nigga was the Player of the Century. And one of the 100 most important people of the 20th century by Time magazine. He passed away from cancer At 82 in December, soccer fans are sure to be looking back at his distinguished career. And number one on the list right now, this list put Messi on there with the World Cup and the 6 Ballon d'Ors. It would seem impossible for any player from Argentina could break the level of stand side by side with Maradona. But Messi then did it apparently. Um, During his illustrious career, he scored the most goals in the history of the legendary club FC Barcelona. FC Barcelona. He's earned 6 Ballon d'Ors and will go down as the greatest player of his generation. Messi is once in a lifetime and this big. I'm just playing, no disrespect, because he really like that. Um, that has excelled in an era where athletes are groomed to peak performance and molded into physical freaks. That's what I was going to say. He this big, but he ball crazy. One goal that has eluded him was the World Cup, but he won the World Cup here in 2022 against Mbappe. So that'll be interesting to see again. It makes you definitely excited if you do pay attention to soccer going into 2026. Let's keep it right along rolling. Um, the Miami Heat have had a pretty up and down season this year. Um, right now, let's see. Nap standings. Okay, dude. Okay. All one word. Jesus Christ. Here we go. So, the season has gotten its roll on. We around that final 20, 30 games. Uh, Probably even less than 30 games. That final like 20 games. 20 to 18 games or some shit like that. Give or take, probably 20 some games. Um, Udonis Haslam. Oh, not Gilly the Kid. Udonis Haslam has announced that he's going to be retiring this season from the NBA, which, if you know the NBA, you know he's like one of the longest standing players in the game right now. He's one of the longest standing players in the NBA right now. Probably the longest tenured player in the NBA right now. Definitely the longest tenure with one team. Um, Definitely a coach or development coach and player at this point for the Miami Heat, but he announced that he's finally going to retire. The Miami Heat are number 7 right now, seed in the East with the playoff playing and everything like that. So they'll definitely probably be, or at least at this point, they still got a chance to make the playoffs. But with everything that he done did for that on that team, you feel me? Um, that's just what it is. I just want to talk about it because I'm a Miami Heat fan. You feel me? I definitely been a Heat fan since I was a youngin. My boy was born 1980. What year did he come in the league? Okay, so he been in the league the same amount of time as LeBron. He came in 2003. Okay, so 20 years. Longest tenure, probably, well, tied for the longest tenure with one team because Kobe played with the Lakers for 20 years. Dirk played for however long. Okay, so I mean, how many points my boy got? Let's show him some love. Let me not just breathe past it. Um, okay. Alrighty. So, you know, My boy Udonis Haslam really rioted it out. Um, Hottest season was '08, and my boy averaged 12 and 9, getting it in. Second year he came in, he had 10 and 9, getting it in. But overall, he's averaged 7.6 rebounds, 878 games. 3 chips though, baby. We riding. You feel me? That's how you ride for the game, man. You feel me? I know why he love the Heat, because he know the culture and he know what it take. Um, Shout out to him though. Um, yeah, that's interesting. Them talking about somebody talking about watch them retire his jersey. I don't think that they should retire his jersey. They should give him like a little food court area though. Udonis Haslam food court or something would be all right. That'd be perfect. The Udonis Haslam food court, and you feel me? Like you could go get like sandwiches and stuff, like po' boys. Um, moving forward right to the next topic. Um, which I didn't know this actually. I found this out just the other day. This happened about 6 days ago, 5 or 6 days ago. Um, LaMelo Ball is out for the season um, with a broken ankle, which is pretty crazy and it's pretty unfortunate, honestly. He's a really, really talented young player. He's one of my favorite young players to watch in the NBA. And you know, it stinks just kind of watching how it's kind of gone for him so far. Just because, well, I won't say it stink watching how it's gone for him. It's just you kind of would have hoped that he would have been able to continue to have a good amount of consistency and different things like that. Um, Over his career, he's averaged 19.7 assists, 6 rebounds in 162 games. Uh, so of a possible 246 games, right, in 3 years, he's played 162. So he's played two seasons, give or take. Uh, with now having this one cut short. And again, he was rookie of the year, one time All Star. Um, this season right now, he was averaging 23 and 6. And again, he started this season. He was already banged up. He had a lot of injuries, a lot of lower body injuries, and different stuff like that. It's very unfortunate that he didn't get a chance to finish the season out. And again, right, the season really started in December. Uh, he missed a lot of games. Highest of the season. His highest of the season was against Orlando. He had 33 points against the Magic. So, you know, he was doing his thing, hooping as hooping. Had a 31-point game against uh, the Celtics, as well as a 25-pointer on a bit of like a back-to-back. Probably one of his better scoring outputs against like a higher level, you know, talent of a team. Maybe he'll get out of there and get to the Lakers. But yeah, it's unfortunate too because again, like at the end of the day, it seems like they're not really able to develop the chemistry that they need with him. And again, he's a really good, talented young player who they need to have out there on the court for real. Dang. So on this play right here, that's when he broke his ankle. Apparently, that's crazy. fracture. Appeared to sustain the injury on a non-contact play in the third quarter when he planted his foot while dribbling. He was removed from the game and did not return. The 21-year-old has been hampered by ankle injuries all season, which means it was already injured. It was already injured, and that means that it finally just gave. That's unfortunate. Limited him to 36 games in his third season after spraining his left ankle in Charlotte's second to last preseason game. Ball didn't make it back for his season debut until was that November 12th. He missed the Hornets' first 13 games. In his third game of the season, he turned the same ankle in a free play when he stepped on the fans' foot courtside. Yeah, they're gonna have to move them people back. The ailment caused him to miss the next 11 games over a month span. Um, both those extended absences, the Charlotte Hornets was trash without him. They went 6-18 without LaMelo. They got the fourth worst record in the league. They right now is on track to have the second best odds to get the number one pick. Well, he averaging career highs in points and assists this season. But again, he playing limited games too. Oh, they took Giannis triple double away because he hit the ball off the bottom of the court. Fuck, I be long recording. Um, MRI reveals information for Ben Simmons back. I just pulled this up because I just feel like it's very interesting. I find it funny how, like how women be tripping. Oh, just talking. um, again, he had a back injury when he was leaving the 76ers. Um, and now suddenly he got a back injury now, and the Nets is trash. But that's none of my business. You feel me? That has nothing to do with any of my non-expert opinions, but I just do think that it's very interesting that Ben Simmons got a back injury now, and the Nets is whatever, and Ben Simmons had a back injury before with the 76ers when he didn't want to play with them either. Um, we want Ben back when he's capable of being back for us. He's been out with an injury for a while. The day-to-day thing, that's just for me to say some type of term. Reiterated that the team has no plans of shutting down the 26-year-old for this season. Simmons has been sidelined for 22 of the team's 66 games this season. Has been largely ineffective when playing. Career low 6.9 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists per contest. He putting up Udonis Haslam numbers. The Nets are 4-7 since trading away Kevin Durant, falling to 6 in the East. Oh, and he well, the stats just get worse. I ain't gonna read that. Don't look now, but here come the Knicks. Emmanuel Quigley had 38 points last night in double OT for the ninth straight win for the Knicks, which probably a lot of people don't know, but they may know because they probably talked about it all day today on ESPN. Emmanuel Quigley scored 38 points, like I said, playing 58 minutes for the injured Jalen Brunson, which is good because that's their star. So, again, having somebody with that kind of confidence who's able to come in the game and fill in and factor and make um, impact is actually a real big deal. So shout out to the Knicks for finding Emmanuel Quigley and allowing him to play and make an impact. So we're gonna go ahead and look deeper into this little matchup. Actually, um, they outlasted the Celtics. Pause 131. Hey, 131. That's me. My birthday. In two overtimes Sunday night for their season high ninth straight victory. Quickly had 7 points in the second overtime and had 8 rebounds and 7 assists with Brunson sidelined because of soreness in his left foot. It was a huge performance by him. Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau said, um, I was going to give him a rest to start the fourth, but then he knocked down a couple of shots, and I thought the game was in the balance right there. Julius Randle had 31 points and 9 rebounds. R.J. Barrett had finished with 29 points and 11 boards for the Knicks, who held on when Boston's Al Horford front-rimmed a three-pointer from the right corner to end the game. I was burping, so I had to say it like that. You feel me? I just think I rushed it a little bit. Horford said, I felt that I didn't stay with my shot long enough. Tatum led the Celtics, which I think he's still averaging the most. We'll check that in a second. Or top 5 in points average. But he led the Celtics with 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. Jaylen Brown also had 29 points. Horford had 20 and 14 rebounds. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what it take to beat these niggas. You got Jason Tatum got 40 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Double-double. 40-point double-double. Al Horford got a 20-point double-double. Jaylen Brown got 30 points dang near. Probably with like 3-4 assists. So again, I'm gonna say he got 30 points because he creating points for other people too. Boston, which owns the NBA's best record for much of the season, has dropped 3 of their last 4 and are a half game behind Milwaukee for the Eastern Conference. We got to get our swagger back, Derek White said, and find a way to play with each other and have fun out there. So right now they're not having that much fun. Julius Randle right now, who after having a 31-point game and a 43-point game this past weekend. Yeah, I know that shot against the Heat was crazy, realistically. Celtics were missing a few guys. They missed Robert Williams and Brogdon. Dang, man, that's what I'm saying. You got to beat all these niggas. That's crazy. But no. Let's check out the Knicks. Right now, the Knicks is the 5th seed. Did they make the playoffs last year? Last year, they was the 11th seed. Oh, they was in the play-in game, huh? No, they didn't make the play-in. They Smooth went home when the season was over last year. Okay. So right now they are 5th in the East, barring injuries and shit like that. Let's see. Julius Randle averaging 25 and 10, so he averaging a double-double. Shout out to the Lakers. Jalen Brunson is averaging 23. R.J. Barrett is averaging 19. Quickly is averaging 13. Josh Hart is averaging 11, and they've been undefeated since Josh Hart joined the team. Running for the cops and the goddamn judge. They're 12th in points scored, 8th in points allowed. I don't know if that's 8th most points. 8th most points. That's interesting. We'll see. I don't really see the Knicks going nowhere, but that's cool for them, right? To be in that position, kind of. They'll put themselves in a position to really, like, you know, be a we'll see team. We're not gonna see them go too far, I don't think. But at the same time, it's also good to see them be able to put themselves in position to have success. I'm trying to think. I feel like it's one more team that I'm missing. I was gonna talk about this. I'll keep it. I'm gonna keep it kind of short. This Russell Westbrook shit is getting out of hand. It's getting kind of crazy. Um, they lost like 3, 4 straight games in a row with Russell Westbrook over this first week that he had joined the team. Got my boys sending me stuff about Russell, about like a narrative about Russell and stuff like that. And I think one of the things that it comes down to, um, I think that people got to acknowledge and that they got to look at it. It's just hard moving around all these teams and trying to get a rhythm and consistency, changing roles and doing all of this stuff. Like, some people keep their same routine and consistency for X amount of time, and you know, imagine now having to switch your all your routines and different stuff like that, and add new changes in your routines and your expectations of what is going on. Not even of yourself, of what is going on, because realistically, your expectations of yourself in this environment don't necessarily matter. We need you to have expectations of what's going on and how you can perform with what's going on. And I think Russell Westbrook at this point, he got to find a better shot selection within what the team is giving him. Clearly, if you're going to see a 3-point like this, a 3-point shot like this, and you're not a 3-point shooter, you ain't got to shoot that thing. You can take a mid range, you could drive a kick. You got to find something else to do other than what it is we watched him do the other day, which was this. Like, we can't go for this, though. Dribbling it out and double pat, no. You look like me at the park. That can't be it. So, recently on Inside the NBA, Shaq said he believed that James Harden um, needs to win the championship. When he was asked who has the most improved this postseason, it kind of made me sit here to myself and think about who I believe really actually had the most improved um, going into this current postseason for the NBA. And I had a pretty good variety of guys that kind of crossed my mind. Um, a top five, definitely. Um, I'm trying to see where it is. I think they rank. Number 5. Anthony Davis. Um, I think Anthony Davis is number 5 for me. Um, because I think when it comes down to it, it's the whole situation with the Lakers over the last few years has been very much so about Anthony Davis and about what he's not necessarily given to the Lakers as a player with so much expectations. It's just what his game maybe necessarily lacks, even though we kind of got a level of expectation um, for him and for that. Um, I just think when it comes down to it, like when you're going into the playoff matchups, no matter who the game is against, like if Anthony Davis is not able to step up and dominate his matchup and really be who it is he's expected to be and be who it is you will believe him to be based on what his talent level is, then the Lakers is probably not going anywhere. You know, you could bring LeBron into somebody building, and it's always a chance. But if that guy next to him is not, the next guy next, that best guy next to him is not able to step up and participate and play at that highest level, then it don't matter. Anthony Davis, I watched him getting dunked on the other night against the Memphis Grizzlies. That was crazy, like ridiculous, actually. Just seeing it in the manner that it was, like, and it's no fire, it's no energy to get no give back, like no nothing. So that's that's very very interesting and very very odd to me. But again, I'll say number five. Um, we gonna go with Anthony Davis. Number four, Kevin Durant, and I'm gonna say Kevin Durant and Chris Paul. I'm gonna say Kevin Durant and Chris Paul because again, um, dang, I'm just trying to find the odds for who fuck going to the finals. Fuck. Well, the fucking Suns. You gotta believe that gotta be arguably, um, man. Okay. Um, right now they're fourth in the West, second in the Pacific. Their original big three lining up just like this: 27 points per game for Booker, 10 rebounds per game for Aiden, and 9 assists. But it's about KD, like I said, and Chris Paul. Um, that assist number for Chris Paul for real gonna go up, but again, his scoring is gonna go up too. Because again, just watching the game against Dallas, for example, yesterday with a little bit of time that I did have, he was getting a lot of open shots, a lot of open three, mid-range shots, similar to the shot Russell Westbrook was getting. A different alignment of the defense, more ball swing, getting him open than it was him realistically being ball handler and being left open, but more flow of the offense ending up being open based on the ball being moved and swaying. So it'll be interesting to see how he works and plays in that role. But again, a high level facilitator in the floor general, so he's gonna be able to do it for them. But him and KD, they definitely got a lot to prove, and it's up to them to take this team there to the championship, so to speak, and give Devin Booker the opportunity to feel to be free to do what he does too. But again, Devin Booker too. I guess it's all of them for real. The Phoenix Suns and just in general, probably realistically, right? Okay, so we got three more. Yeah, nah. This is how it's gonna go. I think this may be me being a little unfair. Um, Number three, rightfully so. I think it'll be James Harden. I think it's no eyes on you. It's no attention on you. You left Brooklyn early. You're gonna get a whole season of just playing. Nobody be paying attention and all of these things. So now at this point, the expectation got to be that you're gonna step in and finally be the guy uh, who's gonna be the dangerous factor and the dangerous cog, so to speak, in the piece and to help in order to facilitate the success that they want to have up there in Philadelphia. And again, right now they're the number third team, number third. They're the number three team um, in the East. He's averaging 22 points per game, 10 assists per game, so he's averaging a double double. Um, and again, over his career average as far as assists, um, over the last what is that 5 games, he's averaged 27.25 points. And he's averaged 25 points and 10 assists. That's good. That'll be interesting to see how that's going to turn out. Yeah, I definitely got to say James Harden too because I think, um, ooh, that's interesting because this person says Jokic. Um, I have no expectation for Jokic. I don't see him winning the championship or going nowhere. So I feel like that's whatever. Um, but the last two persons on my list, excuse me, number two is this guy right here, Tupac Morant, John Morant. You feel me? Um, Police right now are investigating the video from his Instagram live the other night, but it says the All Star guard knows he's made difficult decisions and poor choices, um, but he's also trying to be accountable, is what his coach Taylor Jenkins said. Um, he was not with the team in Los Angeles for their games against the Clippers for the game against the Clippers on Sunday and the Lakers on Tuesday. While the NBA investigated a social media post in which John Morant appeared to be holding a gun. It's a very tough moment. Morant streamed the video on his Instagram account on Sunday, or excuse me, Saturday, uh, of himself holding what appeared to be a gun in a nightclub hours after playing against the Denver Nuggets. I hope John Morant could just, put himself in a position to not necessarily have to really account for these types of things and to have to be the example of the learning lessons and the lessons learned behind these kinds of things. But again, everybody I think got more to offer than BS and nonsense. And I think within that too, I think we always have more for ourselves than the nonsense and the BS sometimes that we submit ourselves to and allow ourselves to fall victim to. And I think right now John Morant just having a lot of struggles with trying to find um, his place, maybe especially in the environment that he's in, um, but more than anything around his peers too. But I think what's important with this right now is again, it put a lot of pressure on his shoulders going into the playoffs, make him a very unlikable guy to a lot of people. And when you end up with all that pressure on your shoulders, there's expectations for you to perform, and people begin to want to see you succeed and or fail based on how much of the negative um, things that they end up hearing about you and learning about you over the course of the way and over the long haul. I almost put him number one, but I couldn't put him number one because I would have to put these two guys number one. I think number one, expectations in the playoffs, it's gotta be Paul George and Kawhi. Um, Paul George, high level scorer, extremely talented. Kawhi Leonard, all and all around, um, all NBA talent, defensively, offensively, two-time champion, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I think this team, as all the pressure begins to start to mount on Russell Westbrook and expectations on him messing it up, these two guys and Kawhi's lack of availability a lot of times and just the inability to have success and find success consistently, I think puts them in a position to be the team that has the most to be expected of them going into the playoffs. Because again, to start this season when they got John Wall and John Wall started playing, it was okay. Yeah, they got John Wall is locked in. They finna go to the finals and all of these other things. And now John Wall isn't even on the team. Now they got Russell Westbrook, and it's now a lot of negativity and a lot of criticism and critiques, um, and not as much immediate results, success wise, so to speak, to go against the criticism that they're getting. Um, but yeah, I would definitely say that these two guys are definitely for sure. Um, my two guys, I would say, most expected. I think at their best, this got to be arguably one of the best teams in the NBA and a harder team to beat in a 7 game series probably than anybody. But they're not able to do it consistently. They've not been able to do it for the long haul. But when they have been able to do it, it has proved to be something truly monumental. One of the honorable mentions of that list I was gonna mention was this guy. It was Dame Lillard. He recently had 71 points. That's somebody I would say with the most expectations going into the playoffs. But realistically, you can't really put that on Dame because again, his situation is just to excel in Portland. Um, Definitely a very very dope feat because he definitely did it from a variety of places and scoring and putting up the numbers that he did. Um, wow. Uh, uh, ooh, give me that back. Hey, hey, ooh, ah, bop. Um, all these guys are up for the MVP right now. I think if I were to pick the MVP, I think my pick would be for Jason Tatum. And they're asking who would be the most capable or most likely to pull his feet off again. And I do believe, um, I believe it'd be Jason Tatum. I think it'd be too hard for Joel Embiid to do it because I think Giannis is a better player than him. And I think when they match up, unless he take it just to that crazy level or James Harden had that kind of performance, I don't think he'll win MVP and make it there. And I don't think they're going to give Joel Embiid the MVP, even though I think he earned it last year and this year. I think he should be back to back, like how Jokic is. Instead, I think Jokic has his back to back championships. I mean MVPs. Um, so I think Jason Tatum. I can see Jason Tatum doing it. He's been scoring at such a high output, consistently still playing defense. Um, and that wing ability again to swarm a guy like James Harden when they do play and still be able to match up against Giannis is going to get him the ability. But I think we definitely could see Giannis doing that. And again, respect the Kang, back-to-back years and back-to-back MVPs and Finals. Um, the Clippers came back 18 points against the Grizzlies. Granted, John Moran didn't play, um, but Russell Westbrook was very hype, and it was good that that was the kind of game that they ended up having. Um, the two huge point performances from Kawhi and Paul George in 40 and in the 30 from Kawhi. But Russell Westbrook was very spirited when they completed the point to, I guess, to put it over, right?
Westbrook looking to post up guard, gets inside, lefty layup is good, and the foul. The aggressiveness of
That spit was crazy, though.
Player that's not afraid of the moment. Gets to that left hand, use that tremendous athleticism.
Hopefully that works out because everybody sure is looking to blame this man for everything. I would hope these videos stop leaking. Okay, Connor McDavid. I do love a little bit of hockey. He is the third player in a century with 5 consecutive multi-goal games. Oh my God. Oh, he got it from anywhere. Dang, my boy Connor McDavid really like that. He got it from anywhere. Look at this. Oh. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, he just out here putting it on people. Oh my God, he skates so fast. Ooh. Oh, he's crazy. I don't want to talk about J. Paul. John Jones won this weekend in like 30 some seconds. That's all we're gonna talk about. We're gonna make John Jones win real quick. He dispatched Cyril game at the 2:04 mark of the fight. I had the strong conviction that if I were to get him down to the ground, that the fight will be in my area. John Jones said post fight. I've been wrestling since I was 12 years old, and I feel stronger. I feel more comfortable, especially on the ground, than ever. I actually felt a little goofy on my feet. It's been a while, but once I got my hands on him, I knew that that was where I was most comfortable. He's already set his sights on Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou said, "Good job, Johnny Boy. Sincerely, the heavyweight king." He called Francis Ngannou fucking pussy. So you fucking pussy. I love that quote. All that muscle with a big ass pussy. Okay. He wants to fight Francis Ngannou and try to put that big Nigerian in the headlock. Alrighty. Transitioning to the back half. Um, Leading into our football area section of the segment at the 55th minute around. Last week, the NFL report cards came out for the top 32, or for all 32 teams in their facility and organizational overall grades, 8 categories. I'm just going to give uh, a little look into the top three, bottom six. So the six overall, three best, three worst. 1,300 NFLPA players were surveyed. Top three, we're going to start at the bottom of each. The bottom from number three of the top three, the Las Vegas Raiders, which is very interesting because they still seem to be struggling with their culture and they still seem to not really be able to get it in and get it on and be consistent enough to really capitalize on who the Raiders have been and who the Raiders are supposed to be. Um, but they ended up coming in here at number three of the top three teams. The bottom three, and again, this is to be expected. At least this first one, you would thought this first one was the worst one, bars. But the Washington Commanders, they number three on this list. Number two of the top three is Miami Dolphins, which makes sense. That's the destination city as well. I would believe that them dudes is living good. That's probably why the Dolphins don't play as well all the time because again they living better than they are than they means type of shit. Uh, Arizona, which we know that's a pretty whack franchise and a whack program right now. Number two of the bottom three, and the Chargers and the Vikings. The Vikings top three, number one of the top three. The Chargers are number one of the bottom three. I be trying to tell people, at least I fuck with them whack ass Chargers, but then we were trying to hear me. And he's ranked treatment of families, nutrition, weight room, the strength staff, team facility, training staff, travel, and the locker room. So of all of them categories, the Chargers, you know, if we sat down for just a day, and again, I'm gonna return to these topics today. I'm just getting on. This is just a little consistency run through. It'll be some more things to talk about tomorrow as more guys get cut and different stuff like that, and free agency, NBA things go on. So this is a cool little Monday back. Super Bowl goal line, 30 seconds left. Forrest Gump, Bobby Boucher. I think Bobby Boucher is knocking Forrest Gump into Vietnam. But that's just me. I think this would be a great matchup. And I think I'm going to start doing a few more matchups like this every so often of just players to match them up and see who and how we think these things will go down. Who will win and how we think these little matchups will go down. This one was pretty cool, though. Yeah, I just think Bobby Boucher is winning that. No doubt. Derek Carr signed with the New Orleans Saints, a $100 million deal, $60-some million guaranteed. If he stays on the field and he stays healthy, he's going to get an extra $40 million, if I'm not mistaken. It'd be interesting to see him with the Saints. It'd be interesting to see if Michael Thomas plays. Chris Olave was pretty good. Alvin Kamara. This definitely makes them a viable and a talented offense, especially depending on what the defense does. If the defense does anything. The Titans is talking about shopping and trading Derrick Henry. The Rams is talking about trading Jalen Ramsey. Granted, Allen Robinson the rights to look for a trade. So again, right now it's just so many teams and so many situations right now where it's looking like this past era of a lot of these players who just were very dominant on a variety of teams or dominant with the programs that they were with are in positions to be on the move right now. After such a short period of time, what does feel like so long, realistically and honestly hasn't been very long of a period of time where a lot of these players have been on their teams. CJ Stroud had a very good performance at the combine, while some guys had very good physical performances solely just in terms of the running, the jumping, the athleticism sections. He had a very, very good performance throwing the ball. Daniel Jeremiah even went as far as to say this was one of the best throwing sessions he's seen at the combine, which is interesting because, again, you realize they're throwing a lot of times with receivers that they've never seen or never played with, so to speak, with brand new receivers. And that's one of the hardest things is trying to get that chemistry and know exactly when a guy's going to break, Where his head placement is going to be hand placement, different types of things like that. His speed in and out of his breaks, his ability to track the ball, and different things like that. So that's a big deal. It'll be interesting to see in a month or so, where some of these guys end up getting drafted. Um, from him, I'm gonna go on and see if I can pull up this Anthony Richardson thing. Um, he said that he started calling himself Cam Jackson in the 11th grade because he wanted to be in the mindset to make even more plays, bigger plays on the football field. So he said he kind of wanted to model his game after Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson. And I think realistically, that's actually a great two types of players to kind of, I won't say model his game after, but to look at and kind of understand the capabilities of what he's kind of got coming with him. He's a 6'4", 244-pound quarterback from the University of Florida. He had multiple 80-yard rushing touchdowns this year for the University of Florida, 2,000 yards passing, 17 yards rushing, and 650 yards rushing. Calvin really got reinstated today, too. Right on time. But yeah, Calvin really got reinstated today after his season long gambling subscription. He'll be playing for the Jaguars next season after having gotten traded, so it's a good addition for Trevor Lawrence. Now you got Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones potentially, and Evan Ingram with Travis Etienne. That offense is looking good. Now they're going to be able to come in and lean on their offense a little bit more as well. After betting on like a 5-leg parlay last season, he was suspended, even though he wasn't actively on the team at the time, like on the roster, because he was at home due to his mental health reasons. Um, he was suspended last season for the entirety of the season with all of the betting and everything going on. I guess the suspension for the season was predicated on trying to kind of set a precedent to start this for players. I don't think that was necessarily fair, but the 28-year-old receiver just reinstated. And he'll be able to play this coming up season, starting training camp and OTAs for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which will be real, real interesting. Um, the Watt family gets a lot of talking, a lot of conversation. The Kelseys get a lot of talk and conversation, but let's talk about some black excellence. I love my black folks. The Jones family, John Jones and his brothers, um, got two UFC championships, former light heavyweight, current UFC heavyweight, and two Super Bowl championships in the house. Chandler and Arthur Jones, which are two of the brothers. I think arguably this is possibly the greatest trio of brothers in the history of sports, just as far as success. Because again, Chandler Jones was one of the best at his position. He's arguably top 10, top 15 at his position, still in the NFL, and at various times was one of the best at his position in the NFL. Multiple Super Bowl rings. I think at least one Super Bowl ring to also go alongside that, and then you got John Jones all on his own. So that's pretty interesting. As we narrowing it down and running it down, I was going to talk about Byron Jones and different stuff like that with the combine, but he's just retired from the game, um, unfortunately. But that's it. We kept it real, real, real close to the vest today. An hour and 3 minutes. Um, Gilly, get out of here. Um, just wanted to run through and get in here, talk a little bit. Um, I'll definitely be back because today was a vibe, but not the same vibe for real. So I appreciate those who's gonna tune in when they do. Um, thank you for the time of the people. You feel me? And I hope y'all have a good start to y'all week. You feel me? I'll be back to get with y'all very soon. See y'all in 24, and when to see y'all in